What's poppin', people? LA Nick. I'm at probably the coolest Harley Davidson dealership probably in the world. I mean, this place is cool. This is Doc's Harley Davidson in Wisconsin. I believe it's Route 29. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's Route 29. And he's got a massive Harley Davidson dealership that has a beautiful showroom. I'll give you a quick tour. He's got a full motorcycle museum and a car museum, and he's got a big restaurant and an antique shop, and it goes on and on. But yeah, this place is crazy. And we'll see if we can find Doc. I don't know where he's at. I just got here, so let's see if we can find him. Everything's Harley Davidson powered. Let's see if we can find him. Actually found Doc. Hey. World famous Doc from Doc's Harley Davidson here in Wisconsin. This is Route 29, right?
Yep.
Yep. So he just told me that this Ferris wheel is powered by a
1976 Harley Davidson shovel head engine.
A shovel head engine. So we'll get a quick look at how that's powered. Because everything here is powered by Harley Davidson.
Yes.
There it is.
And it runs quite well.
Is it OSHA approved?
Of course. Yeah.
Do people ride it?
No, it's the only place you can bring your motorcycle to have it go for a ride on the Ferris
But do
wheel.
people get on them?
No. No, they're balanced very
So you just
closely
have it
enough.
going around.
Yeah, if somebody was to sit on there, they would tip one way or the other, and then the wheel might interfere with one of the struts. So
You can make platforms and make it rideable, probably.
it could be done. I bet you with enough shots of alcohol, we can make it
Yeah.
work.
Anything's possible with enough shots of alcohol. That's pretty cool. And did you do all this?
Oh yeah.
You?
Yeah, me personally. This
Yeah.
is my pissing match here during the shop party. It's an outhouse with a padded Harley toilet seat up inside, and we put a ladder going up there, and you can't have any carry-ins, but there's a tank below. There's 100-year-old Corning glass tubes that come down with markings on, and there's a valve. So you go up in there and you urinate for all you're worth, and we measure your urine output, and there's prizes accordingly, and so it's called a pissing match. You know, you get in an argument called the pissing match. This is a real one.
You are crazy, man.
One lady got up in there, she peed 2 liters. That's right to the top. She won a leather jacket.
Really? 2 liters? Wow, that's a lot of urine.
Yeah.
And you made all the sculptures, huh?
Yeah, somebody gave me a bunch of bikes that burned up in a barn, and one went to the shooting range one day and had a bad day. And
Yeah, I seen this.
this is
rock.
Puffy Magic Rock Dragon. It's a 5,000-pound granite boulder that I found the balance point on. And you can crawl right up on there and put your feet on the footprints and rock this whole dragon. With
Wow, that is crazy, man. How'd you manage to find the balancing point?
Well, I took a bit of doing. I got under with my forklift and kept prizing around until I got it to pick up how I wanted it.
I tell you, man, you're a motivated man.
This is that's a spider I made out of, well, these are old hay forks. You know?
Yeah.
And then I made his body
Spark plugs.
I welded 364 Harley Davidson spark plugs to his butt. Make it look like spider hair, you know.
They are all Harley Davidson, too.
Yes, they are, yes.
Wow.
So, yeah, these are steam engines from Henry Ford's factory from 1905.
Wow.
That's a Buffalo Forge from Buffalo, New York. Over there's a BF Sturtevant from Boston, Massachusetts. And these were up in Pagoming, Michigan in Henry Ford's factory. And he used these up there back in the early 1900s to cut up wood for the Model Ts and Model As. And they had so much scrap left over that a fella, Mr. Kingsley, came up to him and said, hey, how about we start a charcoal factory and we'll call it King's Ford. And it's still there today.
Wow.
They made
I buy their charcoal sometimes.
Yeah.
I think they have a monopoly on it.
Yeah.
It's the only one.
That's a steam donkey from 1904 that came from Algoma, Wisconsin. That's a big Hartford boiler and a huge winch on here that's called a steam donkey. It's got 2 steam heads there that drive those big winches, and this was used on the shores of Lake Michigan to winch boats in off the shore before the big breakwater was built. but they also use them for steam shovels or any project that you would want to have a winch pulling a cable for.
Yep.
Drag
Yeah.
line, anything, you know.
Yeah, we have a big thrashing show in Minnesota, and they have those running there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the entrance to one of my shop parties one
Oh,
year. It was
cool.
A big pirate theme. You'd cross over this little bridge right
Yeah,
there.
cool.
Made the giant swords there out of iron. That's a big Viking boat. We had a Viking themed party one year, and I did not have a Viking longboat, so I built one out of steel myself. You can go up these steps and go crawl up on the deck and grab an oar and see what it feels like to be a Viking. Below decks, I've got some equipment down there I can turn on and he'll blow flames out of his mouth every 20 minutes.
It's all metal.
Yeah.
And you got some motivation. That's a lot of work just right there.
Well, you know, when it came time for the shop party, I called Home Depot to see if they rent Viking longboats, but they do not.
Do not,
So
no.
I built my own. Oh, boy.
I mean, this is on the caliber of like a meth head up in the hills of Hollywood, building shit like this in their backyard.
So out here we got all kinds of animals. There's
Yep, full zoo.
birds and snakes. And
Yeah, when I
tortoises
come
and
here with
iguanas
Nancy,
and
we're gonna shoot all that.
alligators and buffaloes and camels and kangaroos. There's 10-foot alligators in a pond right inside.
You
here.
got buffalo, huh?
I had buffalo for 22 years. I ended up getting rid of them. They were breaking down the fences and just being a pain in the ass.
Too much
I'm
work.
gonna build a new gator pond out here this spring. That's a temporary one because we moved them from behind the restaurant over here. This is a thing I built here called the Rhapsody of Circles. It's 126 antique cast iron wheels that I built on this statue here. It's most of them turn, but it has no purpose in life other than beauty.
Rhapsody of circles. That's all it needs to do is look good.
That's
It's
right.
it's cool looking. I wouldn't mind having it out in my yard.
Yeah, well, I've been saving those wheels for an unknown reason for about 8 years. Something just told me to keep buying these old cast iron wheels.
You know, the smaller ones go for pretty good money,
Yeah,
especially with ones like that,
yeah,
like the little round ones.
yeah, the decorative ones.
Yeah, people want them for old carts and tables and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, they bring good money. I know because I needed some and I had to pay like $100 a piece for them.
yeah, yeah. This is a bird cage I made. I bent all that iron there and I welded everything to a Harley Softail custom 21-inch front wheel.
Oh yeah, I see that.
And a piece of glass in it. But this is where my parrot hangs out in here, you know.
Yeah, I saw you had some parrots.
Oh, we have people go in there too. So this is my workshop here now. This is an old-looking workshop that I built within the new workshop.
Yep.
I couldn't stand working at a brand new white pristine
Yeah,
shop, so
I
I
couldn't do it
got
either.
surplus on aspen wood from the local Amish and built this. I painted the ceiling blue to look like sky and put old 1930s tin up there and all these old antiques around. Gives it a good look. But this is where I restore and work on all the old antique bikes. But it's also the machine shop for the Harley shop if we have to do a valve job or bore cylinders or weld or bead blast or run a lathe, whatever.
Well,
Different
you
things,
do you do nice stuff because I seen my Sunbeam in there. It's looking pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Want to sell it back?
Yeah. There's a 1943 LeBlanc that came off an Air Force ship in 1943. It's even stamped USAAF right on it.
Oh wow.
There's a Ranger aircraft engine, 6
Yeah, I
cylinder
see the old
with the cylinders
props
pointing
piece
down.
still hub still on it.
A guy up in Sturgeon Bay had this on a Model T with that propeller with skis on it. He pushed himself across the lake with that Ranger
Wow.
aircraft engine.
What's the future of that?
Just a display piece. I mean, it turns over. It's got
Does it turn over?
But yeah. I don't know. It's got a tag on there. It says Ranger. It's from 1932.
Yeah.
I had some old Bridgeports. You know, it's not fancy CNC stuff.
Oh
but it
no,
gets
this
the
is the
job
stuff
done,
that
you know.
works, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
These are workhorses.
There's the Sunbeam I just bought from Nick here.
Yeah. It looks good too, man.
After about 100 hours of work.
You got it done quick though.
Yeah,
I mean, it was mechanically sound, just needed cosmetic.
yeah, yeah. There's a 1929 Harley I'm building there, a J model.
Yep.
This is a 1919 J model Harley engine we took on Cannonball. This was my spare motor, but all of these motors in the bikes and this motor here are hopped up. They're souped up. I probably tripled the horsepower. I put 4.5 pound heavier flywheels in and longer stroke and alloy pistons and a better magneto and a linkered carb that you can actually adjust going up the hills for the atmosphere.
I don't know how
when
you
get up
even
in the
do that
mountains.
cannonball. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it on a modern bike.
I've done it 4 times already, across the whole continental United States on a 1916. We'll show you that in a minute.
I don't know how you do it, man.
There's a 1928 Harley Davidson pea shooter. It's a board track racer. It's got SA on the engine block that shows it's a real factory racer.
Oh,
Single
wow.
cylinder, but this thing will run
That
over
has to be
100
pretty rare,
miles an
right?
hour. Yeah, it is, yeah.
For
Very
a
rare.
factory racer?
Yeah, it's a factory racer, and it'll run over 100 miles an hour, and there's no clutch, no transmission, and no brakes.
Really, a single? Over 100, huh?
Yeah, but it's all hot rodded up. It's got the ram horn exhaust and overhead valves. Most of these old pea shooter motors are flatheads.
Right.
But this is the overhead hot rod version.
It's
So,
cool.
Pretty cool little bike.
It's got
Needs some
cool
work,
lines
yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
You got engines everywhere.
Yeah, different stuff. There's a 1943 Van Norman boring bar. That thing works really nice.
Yeah, the
Better
old
than
stuff.
Any of those new ones you
Yeah,
buy.
the old stuff just doesn't. You got engines up there too.
Yeah. Some old stuff up there.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I find old engines.
We got an
and different
Excelsior
things.
single.
Yeah.
What's that last one?
Spacky.
Spacky.
Spacky Deluxe.
Don't know if I know that.
Yeah, they put 'em in
I've
some
seen
different
Deluxe,
ways.
but I've never heard Spacky.
Yeah. Hi, this is Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Good.
I told you to keep the goddamn dog by yourself. Oh,
Yes, we will keep the dog quiet. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. No worries.
The dog is just she's just 2 years old, and she's a big puppy, you know.
This
and,
one's only 2?
yeah.
Oh, I thought she was older.
No, that one's 11. But yeah, this one's only 2, and I got papers with her when I bought her, but she never went on them. All right. Here's a remake of the very first motorcycle I built when I was 15 and a half years
Oh,
old
really?
in Algoma, Wisconsin. I
Really?
sold the bike when I was 16.
So you remade what you had when you were 15.
Yeah, because you always wish you had your first bike, you know. So
Yeah.
I found another old vintage flathead, and I built a remake of my original bike. There's a picture of the original bike.
Oh,
there.
cool. That you have that picture.
Yeah.
I have a picture that's really bad. You can hardly see it.
Yeah.
My mom just sent it to me.
Back in the day, my mom painted yellow dragons on the side of my tanks, and you can see them.
Did she paint these?
Black and white, but no. When I did the remake, she was no longer
She
with us,
passed
so
away.
I blew those pictures up, and now I remembered the colors. So I sat at the table and I hand painted
Cool.
the dragons in. But between the dragon's legs, I put Doc and Mom to give her
Oh,
credit for
cool.
the design.
Cool.
So
That's cool.
I bought the original bike from a farmer in Algoma for $2.
$2.
$2. Yes. By the time it hit the road, I had 75 invested in it, and later that same summer, I sold it for 100. And the only reason I sold it for that is because, well, I made a $25 profit, but there was another guy in Algoma that had a 1950 panhead for 120, and so I upgraded
Can you
the
imagine?
flathead to the panhead for $20.
Yeah, life
The
was.
shark over there, I built him all out of styrofoam. He's 21 and a half feet long. And,
Where do you find the time?
oh my God, 3.5 weeks.
Where do you sleep an hour a day?
I had him hanging by his tail out there on a big beam out there where we were by the thing we were just at, and he was hanging like Jaws, you know, 'cause it was a pirate theme party and it was all wharfs and docks and everything. So I built a huge Jaws shark and had him hanging there. And people were sticking their head in his mouth because he was hanging down at the right point where people could put their head and body into their mouth, in his mouth. So,
What year is this?
that's a 1962 XLCH with the turtle tank. That was
Yeah, I
an
like
option
that
back
tank.
in the day. You can get the
I said
peanut
I'd never
tank or
seen
the
that
turtle
tank.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was an option. It was a bigger tank back in the day. It could travel a little farther
I like it.
because the little peanut tank was always only 2 gallons.
Yeah, I like that tank. It's cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Well, you just let the dogs back in the showroom.
Yeah, that's it. There's a table and chairs I made all out of leftover Harley parts here.
Man, I'll tell you, you get a lot done, man.
This is a Harley motorcycle.
You must have some Norwegian in you because they have good work ethics.
I do,
Norwegians
yeah,
and Germans,
Yeah,
they just work.
but this all comes apart in modular sections, so even a housewife can move it. You can take the glass off, then you can lift the rim off the axle.
Oh, cool.
Then you can pull the whole stub shaft with the flywheels out of the spline, and then those are all Harley Davidson alternator rotors down there. So
Yeah, it's
then
cool.
you can pick up the base.
I like
it
the
all comes
chain.
apart in pieces. This is the is the actual chain we had on all of our Cannonball bikes on the last Cannonball, and we replaced them halfway across the United States.
Sure.
And so I had all these extra chains, and they were a gold
Yeah.
looking chain.
Pistons.
And so I made this set for my hog chapter one Christmas. I was going to give it away. And then my daughter saw it, and she said, well, you can't give that away. It's got our chain from Cannonball on there.
Yeah, you can't give that away.
So I kept this, and I made them a different one, and now it sits here. So.
Yeah.
There's an original paint, 1919 Harley Davidson. It came out of a bakery in Ohio. Sat there for many, many years. And you don't
All
find
original paint, huh?
You don't find original paint ones very often. It's got the Harley badge on the seat and
Yeah.
the brass tag on the battery here. You can see the original paint. Even on the fender here, you can see some
Yeah, you can
original
see some
green.
paint.
There's the blue stripe
Yeah.
with the 3 pinstripes in it.
Yeah. They make some stuff that you can pull that paint back up.
Yeah, I gotta
You
do
wanted
that.
to.
Yeah.
This be right up Tom Banks' alley. You know Tom?
Yes, I do.
Tom would do his, he loved original paint bikes.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll sit there for a week just doing a little section this big.
So these are our Cannonball bikes here. Here's 2 of them. This is my son-in-law Shannon's, and that's my daughter Kirsten's. They did Cannonball with us. I built all of these bikes, and all the engines are hot rodded up. These bikes were only made to run 45 miles an hour stock, and now these will top 90.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they want to do 90 on one. Can they have the brakes to stop at 90?
No.
No. You just gotta,
Gotta slow down
yeah,
first.
you just gotta meter it.
All of these bikes are they're all brand new paint, but I distressed it to
Sure,
look old,
sure,
you know,
sure.
and
I can tell,
hand-painted my
yeah.
own pinstripes with a Max
Sanded
square
some,
head.
some spots.
With a Max squirrel hair paintbrush, I painted everything in, you know. And in 1909, Harley Davidson came out with the first V-twin motor. It was called the F-head or the J model, the IOE intake over exhaust engine, and they ran that from 1909 till 1929. 20 years they ran that type of engine. But from 1909 to 1916, they painted every one of them gray. It was a French car color, Renault gray, and they called them the Silent Gray Fellow. And the reason they called them the Silent Gray Fellow was because of horses back in the day. It had a very quiet exhaust, and if you came into town with a loud motorcycle and scared somebody's horse, a family might be there in their buggy, and if it takes off because you scared them, you're in big trouble.
Right.
So your bike better be quiet, and they were.
Really?
So Harley put very quiet exhaust
Quiet Harley?
on the Silent Gray Fellows because of horses.
Did they have like just a lot of baffling in the exhaust? Or?
Yeah, it's a very elaborate muffler system, but it did have a snuff on there you could kick down with your
Yeah, you
heel
closed
and
it.
open it up and make it noise out in the country, but you better quiet it up when you come to town. Yeah,
The Europeans had that too.
yeah. This is my Cannonball bike here. Now this is the this is a 1916 Harley, and this bike's done Cannonball 4 times,
Wow.
and
That's coast to coast.
yeah.
4
Yeah,
times.
Right, yeah, 4 times.
And
all
you
the way
rode
across the- Yep, yep. And
couldn't do it.
Miguel rode in the sidecar there. The sidecar is from 1913, and it's a wicker sidecar.
No.
And
Did Harley produce a wicker sidecar?
no, Harley did not. It was an aftermarket car of the day.
Right there.
But I added this. This is all aircraft molly for lightweight, but I
Yep.
added this on here so
Oh,
that
that's
Miguel
cool.
could gain access to get inside.
Yeah, that's cool.
And tips forward.
Tips
and
back.
then this leather thing comes down and folds
Covers
over
your
her
feet.
knees because we ran into rain and hail and sleet and snow
Sure.
and a sandstorm.
What'd
one
you
day.
do?
And well, mine comes down too. I got
Okay.
one here that comes down, but you know she's wide open here
Yeah,
without
yeah.
that. So
And kind of laying down.
yeah.
So you're taking it all.
And this little box right here, this opens up and it's got her mirror and makeup in there. You got to have creature comforts for the lady, right? And down here on the exhaust pipe right here, that's a little tube you can drop hot dogs in there and cook them for 10 minutes and pull them out and put them on a bun and hand them off to another rider.
Right next to the exhaust of the hot dog cooker.
It's attached to it, yeah, so it heats up the hot dog real nice in about 10 minutes.
Only Doc would come up with that. I swear.
And this wicker sidecar, this is the actual wicker basket that Moses went down the Nile in.
No, the European bikes, this is common.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
wicker
well,
common.
yeah, a lot more. You don't see them much here in the States.
No, in Europe, lots of.
Pretty common.
Yeah, even later on, late, like in the 60s,
Yeah.
like Rumi made a wicker sidecar.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know.
yeah. They've been making wicker sidecars in Italy in Germany for decades.
And these old bikes have an acetylene headlight and the taillight. You have to light them with a match.
But not still.
Well,
You're not riding cross country with
well,
that.
we're not using the acetylene on Cannonball because the
Right.
tank, the acetylene
Yeah,
tank
yeah.
weighs about 20 pounds.
Sure.
You don't want that weight, and it wouldn't run all day. You wouldn't see it in the daylight
No,
anyway.
no.
But the torch is still in there. That little
Oh yeah, I
Y-shaped
see
torch.
it. Yep, I see the V torch.
and there's a
oh, you
hose
got
that comes to
you got a
the
little
bottom.
LED in there.
So if I was to hook a hose to this and hook up the acetylene
It would
gas,
still work.
I could open this up and light that, and it tends to make a ring that spins when it runs.
Yep.
But yes, we did put a LED wafer from an FLH spot lamp in there.
I've seen ones that you open up and there's a candle in there.
Yeah.
And the candle wick goes down real low.
Oh my God.
There's a tube in the bottom of the headlight for the candle to sit in.
Oh, jeez.
And you open them up and you light them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah. Stacci, a motorcycle called Stacci. It had a candle headlight.
Oh, I'll be damned.
Yeah, Italian.
This is a 1919 Harley I built for my son Steve, and he did Cannonball with us. That's a 1923 that I built for a buddy of mine, Rick, and I let him
That's
drive
real
that
nice.
bike. And he's the guy that was out helping me with the building out there.
Oh, yeah.
He's from Madison, real nice
I
fellow.
thought he was maybe related.
No, just buddies, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Almost looks like that you guys could be cousins or something, relation.
there's a 24 and a 1918. See the rims
Is
on
this
there?
bike original paint?
No,
It's not.
It's about 65 years old.
It looks. Yesterday I was guessing I was like, is that original paint?
No, it's not.
So it's not. Okay.
It's a good replica, but
Yeah, because
and it's been on there a long time.
it's been on there a long time. That's
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
And this bike has the rim covers that the
Oh yeah.
Harley Davidson.
Oh
made
yeah,
those.
they're cool.
They made those for the military because there's the spokes are behind that, but you put the rim covers on each side, and now
Sure.
you can go into mud and it doesn't mire down.
They're cool.
And
I dig
the other
those,
side is a
man.
little round thing that you take one screw out and then you can tip it aside and put your air in.
I dig those. They're cool.
Yeah, they're pretty neat.
How can you tell what's original paint and not? Like, how do you know anymore?
Well, sometimes it's a little difficult.
It is, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I guess this you would know from you would know the striping's not.
yeah, it's
But
not-
this is be tough to know.
Yeah. Well, it's been on there so damn long. It's almost.
I could tell this wasn't
Yeah.
the fenders, but the tank I was like, I don't know, the
Well,
tank
you look
might
at
be.
that 19 over there, then you can really see the.
Yeah, you
differences.
can see it's untouched.
There's little
Yeah.
nuances that you
Yeah.
can tell. Hey, Joe. This in 1913 I restored. Took about 2
Yeah,
years making
beautiful.
this. It's a single cylinder, but it's double chain drive with the clutch in the rear
Oh,
wheel.
oh.
And
So it's
you start the bike on the stand and pedal it
single
until
speed.
it gets going, and then you set it on the ground, and then you take this lever right here, and you pull the lever back, and it tightens up the clutch in the back, and away it goes.
so
It's
one speed. Yep.
And this one's a 1911 single cylinder, and it's got the leather flat belt, and you just pull that lever back and tighten up the belt tensioner, and away you go. One speed.
One speed. Yep. What would be the speed? Like 20
Oh, you might hit 35 or 40
Oh, really?
going downhill.
downhill. Yeah.
Now this bike has an atmospheric intake. You see how easy that goes
Yeah.
down? There is no push rod opening this. And in 1913 was the first year they came out with a push rod that would operate it mechanically. But otherwise, when the piston would go down, it would
just
create
sucks
a
it.
suction and just suck it in and grab some air and fuel and come up, and then it would
They
close the
pretty.
valve.
They pretty efficient.
Yeah, they actually work pretty good.
You wouldn't think it would be.
This is in 1913.
Yeah, it
This is
has
the
the
first
rod.
year for the push rod.
Sure.
And it was mechanically operated, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a Prestolite acetylene tank. It's
Yeah.
got the gauge here and the valve over here, and it says Prestolite on here. This was an option. When you bought this Harley brand new, this is a 1913, it would not have had a headlight from the factory. The first one was 1915.
And none of them had taillights, right?
No.
No
so,
taillights.
So when you bought this bike brand new, it did not have a headlight. It didn't even have mounts for it. I had to weld these onto here. But when you back in the day, you could order this kit. This is an old Sol, S-O-L, old Sol headlight
Yeah,
kit.
heard that name.
And see these thumb nuts here? You can
Oh yeah.
find a way to mount it on your bike, and then you have an accessory headlight because it normally would not have.
Not have a
thumb.
headlight. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a 1941 Harley that a guy had brought in. His,
Pretty crusty.
he bought this when he's 77 years old. He sold me the bike a couple of years ago, but he brought the bike in, and I said, what happened here? And he said, well, I bought the bike when I was 14. I paid $21 for it, and I got it home, and my parents said I could not have a motorcycle, so you park that over at your uncle's farm and don't ever touch it. And he didn't for 77 years. And so he finally went and retrieved the bike and got it out and brought it to me, and I said, my God, what happened? He said, well, my uncle parked it on a bag of fertilizer.
Oh, is that what's
And
it?
it
That's
did
what ate
that.
it.
And it
Yeah,
just
it's very
came up through
corrosive.
Oh my God, what a shame.
Yeah, it looks cool though.
But there's the
It's a cool relic now.
yeah, there's proof that there's beauty in imperfection.
Yes, there is.
And speaking of imperfection, this is the Bluegill Special. Now this bike was dredged out of the Chicago River in 1989. There was a fellow up in Sturgeon Bay that was contracted to dredge the Chicago River, and he did so. He put his scoop in the water and brought it up and put it on the bank, and there's a 59 panhead in the mud. The serial number is all Chinesed out of the engine, but you look underneath on the belly numbers, you can tell it's a 59. And I call it the Bluegill Special because I took out the rear spark plug, and I looked in there with my borescope, and there was a bluegill staring me in the face.
Are you serious?
No.
I didn't think so.
But again, it's a good story, you know.
Yeah.
So I put bluegills all over it and all the seaweed and put it on a stand so you can roll it around.
So you think it was a stolen bike?
I have no idea what the history on this thing is. Who knows?
We said the serial
Was it
numbers were hacked off, right?
Yeah. Was it a jealous wife or
I'm guessing stolen.
who knows what? Something stolen.
What year was it?
59.
59.
59 panhead.
It's
yes.
a shame, man.
Yeah, what a shame. Well, what a find, eh?
59 panheads are like my favorite Harley.
So grandfather died about 3 or 4 years ago, and the grandson sold me the bike then because he didn't really want it.
Sure, and it'll be, you know, at
This
least
is my Cannonball bike taken out back of the restaurant in front
look
of
at
the
that
smokehouse.
long-haired hippie.
And this is a picture of all 100 antique bikes on
Oh, on the run.
beach. This is in Atlantic City on the boardwalk.
Yeah,
And the ocean would be like right
yeah,
behind us.
I know
here, we're
Atlantic City
facing
well.
the ocean.
Yeah,
And so the photographer put a drone up in the air and went down and took
Cool.
a picture of all the old bikes, and then had it built. He put all of our names below that. We're right here with these twin arrows with this.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
There we are, right there.
yeah.
And then when I got back, I bought the picture from the photographer, and I made a steel frame, and then I
Out
welded
of
the
chain.
chain around the outside, and that is the same chain I wore out on the Cannonball that
I'll
year.
tell you, man, you're a motivated man. I never met anyone so motivated.
Oh gosh. This is another entity of Doc's Harley Davidson. This is called Jackass Flats. This is my drawing of it, and it looks just like that. That's a 4-acre field, and it's right down on the east side of the property here. But it's got 4 miniature donkeys in there, and they're the stars of Jackass Flats. So you can go into the building, and then the windows are open. There's treats on the table. You can feed the donkeys through the windows or bring them outside, and you can have interaction with the donkeys. I call it my therapeutic donkey experience. But there's also musical instruments in this building. You can play to the donkeys, and they don't care if you're good or bad, but they like you to try. There's even dueling pianos in there. Oh gosh.
Did you do a lot of drugs when you were young?
No, actually,
You didn't?
I was constantly working on stuff, though. You know.
What'd you come up with these ideas?
Oh, I don't know.
Out there, man.
This is my daughter's nitro Harley here. Her nitro Harley is carbureted nitromethane. She still burns 98% pure nitromethane. But she'll run mid-7s at 180 with this thing.
Pretty good.
We'll show you my nitro race bikes over in the other room. I've raced nitro top fuel Harleys for 47 years now. So, yeah. Here's a 9-pack of old Harley engines here.
I'm going to pause this and start part 2.